Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Taking You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I am your host, JP John Poz from the Two Man Power Trip. Of course, joining me, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Prichard. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great today, John. I hope you are too.
Doing good, doing good. I guess we'll just start off right off the top here. What do you think about Brock Lesnar? Nice little surprise appearance today on Pat McAfee. He's entering the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great surprise. I'm glad to see they're getting a guy like Brock to come back to WWE and enter the Royal Rumble. By the way, that I think that's I don't know what could top that surprise. Maybe a Chris Jericho entry or something. But I mean that's awesome, man. I think it'll get a buzz going.
So interesting though. Before the Lesnar thing about how he makes the surprise appearance to McAfee. McAfee's, acts surprised what's going on. Then he literally announces in the show, so it gets a bit of buzz going. But before that, not a lot of buzz as far as the Rumble. What do you think? Is that true? Because I felt like because it's in Saudi, there's not as much buzz here. Is there any truth to that?
Well, I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, but I know that I have heard some people uh, woeing about the fact that WWE is on Netflix, then PLEs are on ESPN,
Mm-hmm.
and then Saturday Night's main events are on Peacock. So you have to have all these different subscriptions um, to get tuned into all the various programming. But I think it's great that they're coming up with surprises where real wrestling fans will seek out the programming. So I'll tell you what I did get a chance to watch, and I think it was Sunday. I came back. Yeah, I think it was, or maybe it was no, it was probably Monday because we were snowed in. But I watched Unreal season two, and it was pretty much what I thought it'd be.
What does that mean? Did you like it or you didn't like it?
I liked elements of it, but I don't. I, I think it's one of those things that I think is either ingrained in you or not, and I think it might be a generational thing where the old school guys are saying there could be other ways of promoting the product, and I like the way Paul Heyman handled it, and he didn't say any mistruth on his answers or anything like that, but he pretty much explained why he didn't care for the program, why he didn't care for the way things were revealed or talked about in some circles. So it's a great produced program, but I just I think everybody can assume that Road Dogg's real name wasn't Road Dogg, but to come on and tell everybody who you are and just lay it out there, maybe it's a good thing. I like more of a mystery in professional wrestling.
One thing I kind of take umbrage with, but obviously it's kind of selective editing. They're probably filming them all day. Then, like, okay, well, what can they say that'll get the most buzz and the most juice? Whatever. So Bruce, even at one point, goes, "What if Pat McAfee beats Gunther? What would that look like?" And he lays that, and because they took that soundbite, right, and then they put it all over the internet, and everybody went nuts. Like, oh, I can't believe Bruce is the biggest idiot in the history of wrestling, even though he worked for Vince for 35, 40 years. He's the biggest idiot. But what does he know? Why is he saying that? In creative meetings and talking to so many guys that have been in creative, even I just talked to Doug Gilbert. He was saying about how the idea of Eddie Gilbert running over Jerry Lawler, how that came about from literally they were saying they're going to shoot him, they're going to kill, and then eventually, so it's like you mention one thing and it kind of spawns into something else. So Bruce is throwing out there, what if McAfee wins? It's unpredictable. What if they? So then Triple H obviously probably hits him back. No way, we're not doing that. Gunther's our guy. We're giving a push. But it's like I feel like I don't know. It's too much sound bites where it just makes everybody look bad. Like BG. Oh, Road Dogg should be fired. What he said about Truth. Like what? He was being honest. He loves the guy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
sound bites out of context. I feel like sometimes.
yeah, and again, unless you've been in those meetings or those situations, you really can't make an honest assessment. I mean, you can make an assessment from what you see. It's like the evening news puts on what they want to put on because they know it's going to get views, and good news doesn't sell. That's why they put it on the end of the broadcast. But you want to get the interesting bits and the controversial pieces that people are going to comment about. So you want to come back for more. But it's a numbing process to some to be in those meetings and have to go round and round and have to come up with those decisions. And nobody knows what it's like until you're there. So I dare anybody who wants to criticize to step in just one of those meetings to see how it goes. It's not an easy thing, and I think sometimes any suggestion is better than no suggestion, and maybe the dumbest thing on earth. But if you don't have anything else, sometimes the dumbest ideas in the world. I mean, Mae Young giving birth to a hand. Where in the hell did that come from?
So
you know what I mean? If that wasn't a stupid decision, I don't know what was. But at the same time, it was either the only suggestion they had or better than the other suggestions that were being thrown out there, which is probably a sad case of who was writing at the time. But it's one of those things that everybody's an armchair quarterback, but when they get put in the driver's seat, it's a different story.
So obviously you've been in those meetings a lot, right? So when that happens, it's just like spitballing, right? I mean, you're throwing ideas. Sure. What if this happens? What if that happens, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you have some guys who have a great wrestling IQ and can just lay stuff out, and it makes sense. But part of your job as a producer is selling it, and selling it not just to the fans and the audience, but selling it to the guys involved and making it sound great. And if not, then throwing out your idea and letting them tweak it. So yeah, it's not an easy life.
I just loved they'll take a soundbite from Road Dogg, and then people will take that little soundbite and go crazy with it. Mm-hmm. It's just like you got to take it in the full context and watch the whole episode. He's literally crying about R-Truth. He's not saying the guy doesn't deserve to be in WWE. You know what I mean? Like he was crying about it. It's his buddy.
Well, I've known the Armstrongs since I broke in, and every one of them is passionate about professional wrestling, and they believe what they believe, and they stand by their convictions and stand by what they believe in. So, you have to know who Road Dogg is as a person, and it'll come back more into context. But that's the deal. I mean, you put those kind of shows out, and it opens everybody up. You don't know how long they've been sitting in that room. You don't know how long they've been going over it and over it and over it, and you don't know what the frustration level is yet until finally it pops and it cracks, and those are the takes you're going to use. So everybody likes to see a car crash and or somebody get yelled at or somebody mess up so they can jump on it. But that's why I think it was just so much better when there was a little more mystery to it and made you guess.
Cody was saying now they got to do the work underneath the work. It's just like they're always filming back there, even the Seth Rollins thing. Now we know it was all the work within the work, but they're working the boys too. It's like, it's so much too much.
Well, I remember when Bam Bam and LT did their angle at ringside, and nobody was smart enough when Bam Bam shoved LT.
Yeah.
He was coming up, and everyone was coming backstage like, "What the hell happened?" So it was good that way because nobody knew who except the people who needed to know, and yeah, it, it puts layers upon layers until finally there's just nothing to it anymore, and why would anybody want to come see? I watched all 5 episodes, and or I think there was five, right?
Hmm.
5 episodes, yeah. And every other episode or every other scene, it seemed like they were trying to keep something from everybody before it got out. So how long does it take before you just become redundant, and then nobody cares anymore? This may intrigue people to dive a little deeper, and it may intrigue people to watch and get involved more. I don't know, but my way of thinking and my what my vibe tells me is I just wish there was a lot more what ifs, and I'm not sure about this guy or I'm not sure about that guy, but I don't think we have to tell everybody everything.
Yes. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's a little too much trying to work the boys. Like I don't like that, because if you're one of the boys, you're like, oh God, they're working me again. Like it almost gets to be a little weird that way.
Well, yeah. At the same time, you have to realize that uh, not everybody has to be in on what's going on.
Right, that's
Uh,
true too. Yeah. Like
yeah,
Michael
I
Cole
mean,
didn't want to know anything. Yeah.
right. So I mean that's cool to the point too. But when you take it to the extreme they're taking it to, where you see the guys in the back and they're talking and hey, my name is Colby Lopez, Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, and whatever else it was. Um, I just I kind of like the fact that these guys are uh, used to be special. They're still special, but nowadays people know more about them than ever before. And um, I I think if you're a wrestling fan, you find out anyway. And again, with all the information at the click of a mouse or whatever, you can find out anything. But to put it out there, not to insult anybody's intelligence, but I just don't know why you'd have to put it out there and just strip these guys down into uh, who they really are. I like to see larger than life. I don't necessarily want to know everybody's personal life. I want to see the entertainment side. I want to see uh, how hard they work and to see what they hold back.
To me, something on the show got a lot more attention than I gave to it. And it was weird. A lot of people were attacking Triple H. Do you remember the scene where Io Sky like hugged him and jumped on him and like hugged him?
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying inappropriate. I don't know why. I didn't even think about it. I watched it, and I didn't even like put two. Do you think it's inappropriate that they did that, or do you think that she was going too far? He shouldn't hug her, or like, what do you
Well,
think?
here's a young lady who came over from Japan into the biggest wrestling company in the world, and they've nurtured her along, and they obviously like her. They've obviously done a lot with her, and uh, from what I understand, Triple H is like a coach, and in a sense, a father figure. So I don't have any problem with that because there were a lot of father figures and a lot of coaches in WWE who take care of the talent, and you get close to some talent, and I can understand that. The fact that she did it in front of cameras and backstage just goes to show how comfortable she was, and she I think truly respects Triple H and appreciates what he's done for her. So I didn't see anything inappropriate about it.
I don't know why I saw that all over online. And everyone was going nuts. I had to like go back and look at the footage. I was like, wow. For some reason, it just glossed over. I didn't pay any attention to it. I didn't think it was inappropriate at all, but people were going nuts because of the way she was hugging him, whatever. But every week on Raw, she's hugging Rhea Ripley the same way. So I don't know. I don't know what to make, but I don't think it was inappropriate to me.
No, I don't either. I don't think Hunter would treat his talent like that. Yeah, I could be wrong. I haven't been there in a while, but I just I don't see anything inappropriate with it. I think it's good when you have talent who trusts you or at least respect you enough to do what you say and then feel the results afterwards. So no, I think Triple H is one of those guys who want his guys to succeed as well as his gals, and I think it was just an appreciation for what he's done for her.
Going back to the Rumble, we have Roman. Now, obviously, Brock Lesnar's not going to be a surprise. You're thinking maybe Chris Jericho is going to be a surprise. Biggest surprise to me was they built this stadium from scratch. So I don't know if you could see this picture or not, but look,
Wow.
they literally built it from an empty lot. And then January 15th-ish? Yeah, 15th. It's not even fully built. And then a few days ago, fully built with the stage and everything there. Crazy. So in a month, I mean, obviously they have so much money. God knows they have so many resources, and God knows how many people were working on it. But man, in 20 days, they built a freaking stadium. I don't know if it's safe to be in, but they built the stadium in 20 days.
Yeah, well, that's the key, man. I think it better be safe to sit in. Better be safe to be in. Yeah, so January 25th was 2 days ago then, huh?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And how crazy is that? Like, they didn't use one of the existing stadiums that they've used before. They decided to build one from scratch. I was like, wow, because they've been to Saudi Arabia, twice a year for the last almost 8 years, whatever it's been.
So is this going to be their permanent stadium every time they go over there?
That's what I'm thinking. That's like obviously they'll probably have soccer and other things going on there too, but that's what my thinking was, because there's a gigantic WWE statue like outside. There's no way that's just not permanent, because you would take that down and put it back up. It just seems like that's got to be like their permanent fixture, because they have a deal with them for God knows how many years going forward.
Wow. Yeah.
It's the Mania Stadium too, maybe.
Where were they running prior to this?
Another stadium in Riyadh, like different places. I know that now, since there's so much sports and entertainment going on over there, maybe like WWE maybe outgrew those places and they wanted to go bigger for this. So there was definitely a lot of stuff going on, even like concerts and comedians, and bring up over all these people. So maybe they had games going on at that point, but they felt the need to build a whole new stadium for WWE. So pretty nuts.
What is capacity in the stadium? Do you know?
I didn't hear an official number, but I heard that it's going to be over 30,000. So it's a decent sized stadium. It almost looks like, if I could see here, like bleacher seating. So I wonder if they're going to try to get like 50,000 in there or something, like, you know what I mean? Really squeeze them in and pack them in.
Yeah. Well, it'd be great. So I'm anxious to see the Rumble, see what they do.
Who's winning? Who do you got?
You know, with Lesnar coming back, I don't know, man, but I got a feeling it's going to be Cody.
Whoa! Again, third time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
3-time winner. That'd be crazy.
Could be wrong, because you got some heavy hitters coming in. If you have Roman back as well as Brock and then Jericho. So I mean, I don't know if any of those three guys are in the running to win, but Cody certainly has a story there.
I was thinking if they really wanted to ramp it up, Roman should win. You know, he's the biggest draw. He's the biggest star. He's their biggest name. If you really want to ramp this bad boy up and ramp up WrestleMania, you have Roman win.
So then who does Roman face at WrestleMania?
That's the thing. I would have him fight Punk, because that's the big dream match that we haven't seen before. A lot of people are clamoring for Cody Roman 3. I don't know if enough people are clamoring. I would do Roman versus Punk. I mean, I feel like that's like the huge, as Sullivan would say, that the poster, Fred, think about the poster and the two guys. I feel like that would be the big matchup that we haven't seen in a one-on-one in a long time.
Well, then they might do it. That's the interesting thing about this is a lot of people can guess and try and do their own matchmaking, but those creative meetings probably going on. We're going on as they travel yesterday to Saudi and then got there today. And I'm sure they had meetings all day and uh, maybe have dinner tonight and one more meeting before they go to bed and have a meeting about the meeting they're going to have tomorrow morning and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting, no doubt.
The thing is, too, with that, a lot of people I saw online were predicting Gunther to win the Royal Rumble. He's doing double duty that night. He's wrestling AJ Styles and he's in the Rumble. So I wonder what they could do there. I wouldn't have Gunther lose to AJ, but then I don't want AJ to retire either. Do you think, like, what do you think about that? Could AJ possibly be done? This is if he loses, he has to retire.
Well, I mean, no, obviously don't know what they're going to do, but that would be one angle to look at. If Gunther beats AJ and does it in some kind of controversial fashion, yeah, I mean, I could certainly see that. But at the same time, you don't want AJ to retire. You want AJ to be around at least for the rest of the year, and then if he wants to retire, let him retire. But I don't know, man. I think they have a lot to think about, a lot to mull around and figure out how to do it, whatever they're going to do.
If AJ somehow beats Gunther, then I think Gunther might have to win the Rumble. You know what I mean? Get his heat back, win the Rumble, and do it that way. If Gunther beats AJ, man, I don't know. I'm kind of nervous. A long-time AJ Styles fan, just love him, but I'm kind of nervous. Why are they doing him versus Nakamura out of nowhere, and then him versus CM Punk out of nowhere? If he's like that, kind of makes thinking like, okay, they're putting the dream matches we haven't seen in a while for AJ out there because he's retiring. That makes me nervous. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think it's great, but who else could AJ work with if he hadn't done those dream matches? So, I mean, it does make sense in the sense that they know or at least I think they know what their audience wants to see or what AJ wants to see. And I'm sure he's voicing his opinion when he gets a chance. But I don't know. I'm happy for AJ either way. He's had a hell of a career. I'm sure they're going to give him a hell of a year on his way out.
He can't possibly be retiring in Saudi Arabia, could he?
Well, never say never. You never know. Yeah.
Did you happen to see Punk versus AJ on Raw?
Bits of it. I saw the part where Finn Balor came down and
yep.
Yeah.
Good match before that. So I was like, man, they're really putting Punk AJ out there. I hope AJ's not really retiring because like they're giving him his dream matches on the way out here. Like Cena wanted to. Remember, Cena is getting his matches that he wanted, kind of AJ off the list, Lesnar off the list, Cody, like we're getting a bunch of dream matches. Kind of seems the same way for AJ, but this would be kind of out of nowhere. Like if you're AJ and supposedly your contract is up in February, wouldn't you go to him for Triple H and be like, let's extend it until after Mania? You know what I mean? Like, you got to have AJ on Mania this year at least.
Well, they don't have to do anything they don't want to do, obviously. So, I mean, his contract is up in February, huh?
Yep.
Well, then it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities to have Gunther retire.
That's what kind of made me nervous. But I don't know if they leaked that on purpose or if that's a real thing. That his contract's over in February. You know, sometimes they'll leak stuff out there and try to get you thinking one way and then they go another.
Yeah. And that again goes back to the layers that the creative team is trying to put on or get you to think one way and do another. But that, I'm sure that gets pretty hectic after a while.
And it's just interesting. They can go a couple different ways. I kind of like, what they're doing as far as can go in a couple different ways and keeping it unpredictable because usually it's pretty damn predictable, but no idea who's going to win the Rumble. No idea if AJ is going to retire. So at least Triple H is keeping it interesting. Yeah.
And the only way to do that again is not tell too many people and don't show your hand too much.
Did you happen to see Saturday night's main event?
No, I missed that.
Cody fought Fatu, great match. Leading up to the match, which I thought was great. Obviously, it ended up not really being a match because they attacked each other before the bell. Then Drew McIntyre got involved. But I didn't get why they couldn't just ring the bell then have the whole match, then call for a DQ when Drew came out there and ruined it. But I don't know, weird. They ended up being like a no match scenario, but they beat the hell out of each other for 20 minutes. The crowd was amped because you could tell like when two guys that they both like, or that the crowd both likes, and hadn't really seen. So it was like, who the hell's going to win this? It's like the crowd was just going, they were apeshit for it. They were just amped. Drew came out, he ruined the finish. There was no finish to the match. It really never even got started. And Jacob and Cody still hate each other. But on SmackDown before that, they had a great face-to-face where Cody basically goes, "You're so impulsive. This is the reason why you were in jail for all those years." So it's like, do you like them bringing up stuff from Jacob's past? Obviously, he's a wrestler.
Yeah. I mean, the when you have real issues and personal issues, they resonate with people, and some of that stuff you may think. For a guy like Jacob, he may not want to hear about his past. He may not want to hear about the time he did in prison, and so I think that's fine. That's great. It's fair game, and I'm sure the guy it was directed to, aka Jacob, had to approve and agree. And he's easy going guy, so I think he gets it. In fact, I know he gets it. So yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Felt like he had a great promo too, basically saying he's got 7 kids, they were living in one bed, and he didn't know if he was signed by WWE. Even the month before, he had no idea if he would really be signed by them because it's happened before where they said he was going to be there, but they didn't like his past and his record, so he wasn't 100% sure, and he didn't know how he's going to basically support all his family and all his kids. And he's been in and out of jail before. He's been impulsive, so even his promo was real. You could tell a bit of a shoot as well going on.
Yeah, well, the best promos are pretty much shoots, and it's one that people can feel, and they know when you're saying it, if you're feeling it, and if it's real or not. And I think by being real, that helps it.
Do you like him as a babyface,
Jacob?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's going to be a babyface because the people are going to respect him, and I think he's already pretty much at the point where you do have people respect him because he is so good. And I think, if there's such thing as a babyface anymore, yeah, I could see him as a babyface. He wouldn't have to change a thing. It's just people are going to like what he does and not necessarily like the person he's wrestling against.
I just feel like his character and even his promos, he comes off not as a babyface or as a heel. It just comes off as like a tweener. So I don't know. I wouldn't even necessarily have him be either. I know that might be weird in this day and age where it's not really so much gray as it was, maybe Attitude Era where Austin is basically a heel, but he's the biggest babyface. Like, I feel like he should be nothing. You know what I mean? Just like that tweener because he's just Jacob Fatu kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You'll have people who respect him and cheer for him, and then you may have some who don't. But either way, he's authentic. He's that guy. He did the time. He went away and came back and. It's like guys like Jelly Roll who did time and got out, became successful, and just recently was pardoned by the governor of Tennessee. And it's real, and he talks about it. So, I think that's something they tapped into, and having Jacob being real and authentic is a plus, and I think it's awesome.
The thing is with Cody and him having like the no finish, technically the match didn't get started. Does that help both guys? Does it hurt at all? Like, should there be a finish, or is that just quote unquote protecting them and just advancing storylines forward with Drew?
Well, I think it's more advancing storylines, and you don't necessarily have to be either one. I think it all plays into the grand scheme of things, and Cody has a bitch. Jacob has a bitch, and it could both be directed at Drew McIntyre. So I think he's just advancing the storyline.
We still technically don't know who attacked Jacob. Remember, they busted up his teeth or whatever. We assume it's Drew. Drew denied it, so we still technically don't know. Do you think that it would be Cody, like a heel turn? Do you think that's kind of stupid because he's the number one babyface?
No, yeah, I don't think you turn Cody right now. I think it's more of a Drew thing, if anything.
He's a liar. He's a heel. He's just telling he's not guilty, but he is guilty.
Of course. Most criminals and liars do that.
Yeah, people were like advocating for Cody doing the Homelander thing from The Boys, where he like looks like a babyface, but he's really a heel, and he should turn but act like he's like this good guy, but kind of be a phony about it, kind of deal. I don't know, like especially going to that house show at the beginning of the month, like man, he is so over, like as a babyface and number one merch guy. Merch that was like half the stuff was his stuff, so it's
Yeah,
like I don't know if you want to turn that guy, kind of
yeah,
defeat the purpose there.
yeah. I don't think you'd have to really rely heavy on that subtext to for everyone to understand. And I'm not sure everyone would understand. I think keep it simple and keep him in the position he's in now, and I think it'll be fine.
You know what? I kind of this is like random, but I would have loved Jacob Fatu as like Rock's enforcer, or like the Rock's, like the Rock can't wrestle as much, or he's not there as much, like the guy that he basically is like his pit bull, like his number two, if you will, like get him, like he's gonna sick him on him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, hey, Rock has a problem with Cody. Jacob, kill him for me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. That's what I kind of foresaw for Jacob. Obviously, the Rock's not around, but
Right.
Jacob got too over. But that's what I thought would have been a cool role for him, as like the Rock's like guy, his bodyguard, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, and there's still time to do that down the road sometime. I mean, if that's where it goes, but again, like you said, I think Jacob has won over a lot of the fans and a lot of the boys, especially, who want to work with him because he knows what he's doing. He has a psychology, and uh, he's that guy that is known as a wild card and could take a chance on doing anything, and you don't know if he's going to go off or crazy, or if that was part of what the story was, or whatever. But I think you have to be invested and into who you are for this thing to work. And I think both Cody and Jacob know their roles, and I think it'll evolve from there.
The Rock rumored to be a part of not this WrestleMania, but WrestleMania 43 in Saudi Arabia. They're saying possibly the biggest payday ever in the history of wrestling will be offered to The Rock.
Mm.
You think that's BS, or you think that's true?
Well, I don't know. What is the biggest payday in wrestling so far?
Oh God, I don't know. But Hogan, what did he get? Like $5-10 million a shot sometimes for WrestleMania, and stuff like
I have
that.
no idea. 5-10 million?
Well, I know for WrestleMania 5, because it did so well, and just like it was just North America did like either between 750 and 775,000 buys or whatever. Like it was the most successful Mania forever. And I remember he got 5 million for WrestleMania 5. That's all the way back then, 5 million. So I'm sure
Mm.
I'm sure somebody's gotten a bigger payday since, but I'm guessing 20-30 million for Rock to wrestle. I'm guessing.
Well, that's a lot. So I mean, it'd be hard to turn down.
And they're going to offer Austin something too. So it's going to be.
Well, I don't know if Austin wants to do it. I mean, for everybody has a price, but I don't know if he wants
He
to.
literally said recently, he goes, everybody's got a price. So maybe
Yeah,
they hit that number. He's 61, but maybe they hit that number.
yeah, I can see it. I certainly can see it.
The Rock, I mean, he's got so much unfinished business there. I mean, like, why not? Like, that just seems like easy money to me, because he could literally just go step in and people are dying for him versus Cody, dying for him versus Roman. So, I mean, it's just easy money.
Yeah, it would be easy money, but once again, you have to figure out what exactly you're going to do and make sure that it comes off with no one getting hurt, and there's a lot of things you have to think about going into a match, any kind of match,
Oh, yeah. And
especially
his
for a guy,
schedule.
yeah, especially for a guy like Rock whose main job these days and for the last few years have been movies and that kind of stuff. And when you get in the ring, it's a whole different animal.
So, just a little crazy, funny story here that I saw pop up. There is a WWE talent agent. Well, I guess he's formerly of the Paradigm agency, as far as being an agent is concerned. Nick Piccolo, who's been all over X, he's all over social media. He was the agent of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. I think he still is. So I'm kind of not sure if he got fired or if he left Paradigm to do his own thing. But I was reading an article saying that he's taking his talent under his umbrella, doing his own thing with his own agency that he's launching, and that Paradigm is kind of doing it with him, and they're going to be in conjunction with him, and all these guys get along with him. So why am I mentioning this? What does that have to do with anything? Who cares about some agent? Because for some reason he was taking pot shots at AEW, just funny little jabs here and there. So all of a sudden, people are saying that he was fired from Paradigm because maybe Tony Khan got involved and got him fired. Kind of interesting. You would, on the surface, like that sounds so silly. It sounds whatever. He's saying not only is it true, he has receipts, he has proof of VPN usage, which obviously you can kind of hide where you are when you use a VPN. So like he's got proof of where it's. I don't know, like if he's bluffing or if he's being honest. He's saying that it was Tony under these burner accounts that is like ripping him, because there's so many AEW fans come out of the woodwork. You say something bad, and we're going after him. So who's to say that it wasn't an AEW fan or somebody that works at AEW with these burner accounts going after Tony? So I just want to pull this up. This is supposedly the account. You can hardly read it, but it's this guy, Ron. And so JD from New York, who's a podcaster, like obviously local out of me in New York, he's like a podcaster, but he's kind of gotten a big name in the podcasting world from ripping AEW. So the AEW fans absolutely hate JD from New York. But he put Nick Piccolo put careers don't stall, they change velocity. This was about leaving. It wasn't about leaving. This was about the runway, meaning the launch. He has a runway. He's going to launch. What comes next moves even faster. The next phase is already in motion. The announcement will start soon. And he has a rocket launch. So Nick Piccolo is saying he's going to be launching something. And JD from New York, the podcaster, says, excited to see what Nick does next. Huge congrats to him. Very promising move. So this guy, Ron, writes, that's like congratulating you for no longer being a commentator for House of Glory. Supposedly, Tony Khan and Sasha Banks got JD from New York fired from House of Glory. Big rumor out there. So it's like, okay, why is the guy Ron commenting on that? That's kind of strange because it directly correlates to AEW. Strange. So then the guy Ron put again, why would you congratulate him? They fired him. Okay, that never came out that he was fired, so that's interesting. And then the guy Ron wrote to the guy Nick, you haven't connected dots, but you finally admitted that you've been fired. Good job. So then Nick puts out there basically that this person, Ron, is Tony Khan, and that I have proof and blah, blah, blah. And it's a burner account that he uses, blah, blah, blah. So he was pulling it up, and all of a sudden the guy Ron deletes it. So weird thing is, if it's not Tony or it's not somebody from AEW, why would you delete the burner account, right? So it's kind of strange. Very strange.
It is strange. That's very strange. That's be honest, I don't know why people want to get in internet fights or Twitter fights or any of that stuff, because it's a lose-lose. Nobody's going to win on that. So I can understand getting upset about something, but when you have to go on and get burner accounts and all this stuff, it's just sometimes it'll make you look like a fool, like an idiot.
Then they doxed him, right? They tried to get his personal information. They found a picture that he posted. He was at a WWE show. He was with his daughter. So these AEW fans are crazy. They're posting pictures of the guy's daughter and stuff. They doxed him and they said, "Oh, look, he got a DUI and blah 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 blah." Here's the only problem with that: somebody has the same name. You can tell by the age, right? It's not the same guy. It doesn't add up. If the guy's been with Paradigm for 17 years, he can't be 27 years old. So it's like, holy crap. So these people are doxing the wrong people and throwing it out there with this guy, Ron, by the way, kind of leading the charge that he's this DUI and blah, blah. It's like, wait a second. He's a lot older than that. He's been with Paradigm 17 years. How could he have been 27 years old last year with doesn't even make sense. But these idiots will post it and they'll keep writing that and saying, we're going to dox you. We're going to find out where you live. And I can't believe you made fun of AEW. So taking it a bit far, way far. And if really that is Tony, as this guy Ron, God, I hope it's not. I don't think Tony would do that necessarily, but I do think other people that are either fans of AEW, work for AEW, would do that. So crazy stuff. But I was like, man, they're like quote unquote doxing this guy, and they're getting the wrong guy.
So what do you think they're hoping to accomplish by this?
what they wanted for whatever reason was for this guy to be fired and for this guy basically to leave social media and not make fun of AEW so they can go on their way.
Oh,
You can't have conflicting opinions. You have to love
yeah.
AEW and not talk bad about it. I understand, like, okay, he took a pot shot because he's with Drew, he's with Punk, and you know what I mean, like they're WWE and he's like taking a pot shot. I can kind of understand it, but to a point, it's like, all right, it's kind of funny, but then to go crazy about it, it's like you just kind of ignore that, and laugh it off.
Well, yeah, and I think that again just kind of shows where we're at in the world today and society as a whole. I think social media is successful. I think Twitter's successful. I think all the messaging and all the stuff out there. Anybody can write anything about anybody without any recourse or any consequences, and it's just half of it. Well, 90% of it's bullshit, and so, but I mean that's the world we find ourselves in today. So, whatever the end goal is, I guess it wasn't accomplished.
Well, I guess maybe in a way it was if he technically left Paradigm. So I guess they kind of have got what they wanted, but I bet you he's starting another agency because I think from the article that I read that Drew and Punk and Jade Cargill and all these people are still with him. So that means obviously it's like an Ari Emanuel situation. If you know his past, he was in one agency and left and started his own agency, and he's bigger than ever. Obviously, he owns TKO, so it's like you never know what Nick has got for the future. But I just think that, man, these burner accounts and stuff. I remember Kevin Durant, famous basketball, he got caught with a burner account making fun of people, and I guess he forgot to switch the names or whatever he was doing, so he got caught once. So it's crazy, some of these guys with the burners. I don't know if it's Tony. Obviously, people were joking around that's Tony, but you know, maybe Nick said it was him, but he might be again trolling the AEW fans.
Well, one thing I've learned to accept is that you never know about people until you know about people.
Yeah.
So I mean, he can deny it all he wants, and unless they have certain proof, then he can keep denying it, and people will keep guessing on what the truth really is. So, I personally, it baffles me why anybody wants to go on the internet and be humiliated or try and pick a fight with somebody that everybody else is going to jump in on, and you're not going to win. It's a lose-lose all the way around, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes, and you never know with these people online, like they take it like way too far. Like, posting pictures of the guy's kid and stuff. I mean, like nutty behavior sometimes for these people.
Yeah, it's dangerous behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, we that's where we find ourselves today. Dangerous behavior. I mean, stalking the guys, stalking the girls, the divas, and waiting at the hotels, waiting at the airport, and things like that. So, and then on social media, people can say whatever they want, and no repercussions come of it.
Just another funny little tidbit here about Jericho, of all people. He will be on a show on Apple TV starring Nicole Kidman called Margot's Got Money Troubles. It's about a young mother who finds herself struggling to meet ends meet when her estranged father offers to help. She then starts an OnlyFans account using advice from pro wrestling. Though successful, she wonders if the internet fame comes at too high a price, starring Elle Fang and Nicole Kidman. So very interesting that. And here's just a picture I found with Nicole Kidman in a wrestling ring as a wrestler, and Chris Jericho's in the background. So now we know what he's been up to. He's been filming some stuff.
Huh. Good for him. That's Nicole Kidman?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Doing wrestling. It to me still looks great, but if you look at, wow, she's 57 or 58, should she be in the ring doing wrestling stunts? Hopefully she's not, but obviously she's dressed as a wrestler, supposed to be a wrestler on the show, and obviously that's Jericho in the background.
Yeah. Well, again, good for both of them. Good for Chris, and I'm glad Nicole Kidman's still getting work.
Another show about wrestling. What do you think about that? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty much ingrained in society.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
All right, let's get to this week in Dr. Tom history. Let's start off in 1981, part of the New Japan Pro Wrestling New Year Golden Series 81. This is night 16 in Kagoshima, Japan. You lost to Kentaro Hoshino. Do you have any recollection of this whatsoever? 1981 New Japan.
I remember like it was 40 years ago.
Whoa. Yes.
Yeah. So it was like over 40 years ago.
I don't even really remember Hoshino, to be honest.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. To be honest with you, man, that first tour was so cool. I remember working with Fujinami a few times during that tour, and Inoki a couple times, I think, in a tag match. But it was just going over there. You get on the bus and stop along the way, eat, and then get to the town. It was just it was so cool. But I honestly, God, don't remember who I worked with all the time over there.
The only thing I know about Hoshino, just from like looking him up, is that his trainer was Ricky Dozan. That's the only really thing I know about him. Yeah, I'm not really too familiar with him, and I know a lot of the Japanese guys. Obviously, I don't think he was one of the huge stars necessarily over there.
Yeah, well, in 1981, there was a lot of young guys breaking in. So I mean, I like I said, I don't remember, but if Ricky Dozan trained him, then he had to have been a veteran by that time.
Obviously, other guys on the card were Akira Maeda, who everybody knows, legend, Ricky Choshu, legend, Fujiwara, legend. So, I mean, there's like big names on that show, just some of the guys not as familiar with. Obviously, Inoki, Fujinami, without even Big Ben and everybody knows who they are. But just interesting to see. 81 was kind of a huge melting pot for huge talent. Like you said, Bad News Allen's on the tour. I mean, so there's talent there. I just wasn't too familiar with Hoshino.
Yeah. Well, I obviously wasn't either.
Now let's go to 1984 Pacific Northwest, Portland, Oregon, at the old sports arena. You defeated Tia, a.k.a. Tio Tio, a.k.a. Tio Samoa, a.k.a. the Witch Doctor, a.k.a. the New Guinea Headhunter. Do you have any recollection of Tio Tio in the Pacific Northwest?
I just remember being a good guy, nice guy. Enjoyed working with him. All the guys in Oregon I enjoyed working with. It was a laid back territory. It was the kind of place where you either went there at the beginning of your career or you were there at the end, helping the guys who were starting at the beginning. And I saw that for what it was, and I was just happy to be there. I was there for a little over a year.
Of course, the Portland Wrestling Expo will be coming up too, which we will mention again later on. So that's just a nice little teaser there. So Portland will be brought up again. Let's go to 1994. There are several different events here. Well, not events per se, but several matches for one show here, and we're going to be at the Knox County High School in Bourbonville, Kentucky.
Barberville.
Oh, Barberville. I'm sorry, Barberville, Kentucky. Wow. Okay. So you're familiar. Knox. I didn't know there was a Knox County in Kentucky. I thought that was Tennessee.
There's Knox counties everywhere, I think, even in Texas. So, yeah.
You're going to do double duty this night. You're going to be in a Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team title match. Of course, the Heavenly Bodies, yourself and Jimmy Del Rey as champions, defeat the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. Then, which I don't even recall this whatsoever, but it's just interesting because this is just a spot show, in front of like between 750 and 1,000 fans here. It's a Royal Rumble. Do you remember doing a mini Royal Rumble here in Kentucky?
We did a couple of them all around the territory. So I don't remember that one particular in Barberville, but I know we did a couple of them.
Very fascinating to note that Dirty White Boy wins it. And he also defeated Anthony Michaels, Bobby Blaze, Brian Lee, Chris Candido, Jimmy Del Rey, Killer Kyle, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, the Hornet, Tracy Smothers, and yourself. The Hornet was Brian Logan. Remember Brian?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Brian very well.
Now, that's kind of like a weird thing that to have a Royal Rumble just randomly on a spot show, right? Do you think? Or
Well, no, I mean Jimmy was trying to draw people to the towns, and you could put special attractions like that up and see if they'd come. I mean, I don't not for that day and time. Wouldn't odd at all.
just was like surprised to see, like, wow, Royal Rumble. How many guys are in there? There's only only 10 guys or so that were in it.
Yeah,
So
small Royal Rumble. Yeah.
then we'll go to 1995, but we'll stay with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It's Super Saturday Night Fever, Knoxville Civic Center, Knoxville,
Hmm.
Tennessee. Over 2,000 in attendance. So nice little show here at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum. The Smoky Mountain, or really, it just did the main event for the Smoky Mountain show on this night would be the Gangstas, Mustafa Saeed and New Jack with D'Lo Brown versus the Heavenly Bodies, Jimmy Del Rey and yourself with Jim Cornette. It went into a double DQ. So 15-minute double DQ versus the Gangstas. What do you think about working the Gangstas?
You know what? I never had any problem with those guys. And New Jack, the first time I think we ever worked together, I believe it was Johnson City. I could be wrong on that, but we started out wild and we didn't call anything. We just knew the finish. And I remember I was brawling outside with D'Lo, and I saw out of the corner of my eye New Jack running down the apron, and I turned just in time for him to jump off and give me a clothesline. But it was solid. It wasn't stiff, and I enjoyed working with those guys. They knew how to get heat, and they had heat in Tennessee and Kentucky. But I always got along with New Jack and Mustafa and D'Lo. I thought they were a great team, and I thought they did a hell of a job.
Man, the Gangstas kind of get like a reputation. You know what I mean? Like the tough guys, the nasty, the brutal. They were big fans. Like I remember talking to New Jack, and he was like, "Man, I love the Heavenly Body. I love Rock and Roll Express." Like actually, like appreciative and like fans of the business. You wouldn't kind of maybe expect that from those guys because they're so wild and crazy.
Well, no, once you talk to him, you'd expect that. Last time I saw June Jack before he died, he did a shot in Sevierville. I mean, we went out and ate and had some drinks, and you could tell he was appreciative of what he had, and he was an easygoing, mellow guy when you got him calmed down and around, uh, away from the chaos and all the other bullshit. Uh, so no, I mean they it was obvious they were fans because they were so good at what they did, and they understood the psychology of getting heat. And they understood, New Jack could be crusty, and New Jack could be ornery and uh, different and scary to some people, but you just had to get to know him and sit down and talk to him, and come to find out he loved the business and he loved what he was doing, and the Gangstas were good at what they did. In fact, they were great at what they did, I thought.
I thought it was funny. God, this had to be like 10 years ago. When I used to do like wrestling conventions, I brought New Jack in, and before like the fans got in just talking wrestling. He's really cool. Then the fans start piling in. He pulls a knife out of his bag and like puts it up to my throat. I'm like, what the hell? Like
Yeah,
when nobody's there, he's like, cool. What? And then people start coming in. He's like, what about this guy? Like, total worker. You know what I mean? Total
yeah,
guy that's working to get everybody.
yeah, exactly. Once again, those are the kind of guys that's missing. And um, was New Jack off? Yeah, I mean, sure he was. Was he crazy? He was crazy like a fox.
Yep.
And he didn't tell everybody, "Oh, I'm just a nice guy." He made you wonder, and he wouldn't break that barrier. He wouldn't break that wall with fans and things like that. At least when I knew it. But when it was just him and the boys, he was good. He was great.
By the way, not the main event that night, the tag match. Main event was another Royal Rumble, and it was won by Ricky Morton, just to throw that out there. So another Royal Rumble. You guys did it 2 years in a row. You're still in the thunder of the Royal Rumble. Interesting.
Tremendous. Yeah, tremendous.
And then finally, of course, you won't want to talk about this, but the house show from the Core State Spectrum in Philly, PA. Always love that venue. For the World Tag Team titles, the Smoking Guns defeated the Bodidonas there in a house show in 1996 in front of 5,300 people. Not that great of a show, but probably a great main event because Brett beat Diesel.
Great. I don't remember because I X'd all that stuff out.
Man, go from the Gangstas to the Smoking Guns a year later. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very different, for sure.
Very different. Sure was.
Want to throw this out. Go to pwexpo.com for the Portland Wrestling Expo. I didn't know this, or maybe I missed this looking. They added Minoru Suzuki to the vendor guest, or if you will. Like, you got Ken Patera, like I mentioned. Obviously, you're there. You got the Joel Strombo, you got the Grappler, you got the Godfather, which we mentioned last week, and Dave Sullivan. I must have missed it. Minoru Suzuki, that's a rare guest. Pretty cool.
Well, that'd be cool. Everybody come out and say hi. That'd be great.
Go to pwexpo.com for more. Get your ticket information. You see Dr. Tom. You get to see the Grappler. Obviously, he's a god over there in the Portland area. You get to see Rip Rogers, your old friend, and then of course, like I mentioned, the Godfather and Minoru Suzuki. Wow, that is awesome. I like it.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome weekend. I think it's going to be great.
All right, let's wrap it up and head towards the plugs. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. How about you, Dr. Tom?
Well, if you want to get in touch with me for seminars or any special appearances, anything like that, just email me at thedrtompritchard@gmail.com.
Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. We'll see you right back here next week for a little Taking to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. See you next week.